Welcome to another TIPShot video from TIP Technologies. In today's video, we're going to look at the documentation approval process in TIPQA. TIPQA is a great paperless QMS solution. Therefore, the process that manages document approvals is vitally important. Just how does TIPQA handle that, and what needs approving? Approvals may need to be obtained for nonconformance dispositions, corrective action plans, in the document management module prior to a document being released, and in complaint handling before any repairs commence. Whether in corrective action, nonconformance, document management, or complaint handling, the document approval process is handled the same way. Let's look at the process for approvals. What happens when approvals are unnecessary? What happens when a document is rejected? And how it is modified based on feedback so approval can be given. The Approval tab is where these documents are either approved or rejected by those assigned to review them. This screen is from the Document Management module. Across the bottom of the screen, shown here, are the buttons that control how the screen is managed. From left to right, the Add Requirement button, when pressed, allows additional approval requirements to be added to the list. Requirements are required approvers. They can be user IDs, approval groups, users who are responsible for certain commodity codes, or part number assignments, who must approve the document for it to proceed. Requirements appear in rows in the grid. Of these four options, approval by a person, that is, a user in TIP, and approval by approval group are the ones most often used, so that's what I'll use here. As requirements are added, they appear in the grid on a row with revision and the responsible for approval columns populated. An easy way to tell at a glance if approvers are individual users or approval groups is that individuals listed in the approval grid are denoted by lowercase letters, while approval groups are indicated by uppercase. Mark Not Applicable allows those with permissions to do so to mark an approval as not necessary. This may come in handy if the document in question doesn't need an approval or has an approval from a predefined list of approvals that was auto-populated. A row is highlighted in the grid and when clicked is marked NA. Mark as approved is what we will use most often. When a row is highlighted and this button is clicked, the logged-in user's credentials will be verified to see if they are approved to sign for that approval, be it an individual, approval group, commodity code, or part number. If valid, the system will mark who approved, when the transaction was completed, and the approval status. Then finally, the Mark as Reject button. If the reviewer decided they can't accept the document, they click the Mark as Reject button. That approver's line will be marked with the approval state REJ for reject. At that point, it may be required to reverse the document back to an earlier status to fix any issues that may need addressing. When it comes back to the approval process, it will have incremented the revision. The former data is still available, including who rejected it and why. The Action History tab is where all this historical information is stored. This approval/rejection process in DM functions similarly in the other modules that use an approval page as part of the document workflow. Thank you for watching this TIPShot on the document approval process in TIPQA. To learn more about TIPQA, the QMS software solution, please visit us at www.tiptech.com.